You won't believe what just went down behind the cameras on Love and Hip Hop. Emotions ran higher than ever, fans are shocked, and the family is left divided after what started as a tense confrontation between Jasmine and Rasheeda exploded into full-blown chaos. Eyewitnesses say the argument began over what seemed like a harmless comment, but tempers flared, voices escalated, and soon the energy in the room became electric, dangerously electric. Security had to step in as accusations flew, secrets were revealed, and the two reality TV heavyweights came dangerously close to crossing the line. Sources close to the scene claim that what happened next left everyone gasping. Cameras, which were rolling just moments before, suddenly cut out, the footage missing, the reasons completely unclear. Was it a technical glitch, or did the producers intervene to prevent a scandal too explosive for television? Fans online are speculating non-stop, debating who started it, what was said, and whether this fight could be changing. Social media is on fire with clips, memes, and heated reactions, leaving viewers desperate for answers. Family members and friends were reportedly caught in the crossfire, trying to mediate as Jasmine and Rasheeda's feud reached its boiling point. What started as a small disagreement spiraled into an emotional showdown, and insiders hint that long-standing grudges finally came to light in the heat of the moment. Witnesses describe shouting, accusations, and gestures that made it clear this was no ordinary reality TV spat. It was personal, intense, and completely unpredictable. As the tension mounted, the energy in the room became unbearable. Fans are left asking, what triggered the fight? Did anyone get hurt? And most importantly, will the cameras ever capture the full truth? One thing is certain, this is a confrontation that will be remembered for seasons to come. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear is the untold story of Jasmine and Rasheeda's explosive clash. The moment that had everyone holding their breath. And the drama that left a permanent mark on the Love and Hip Hop legacy. The tension in the room was palpable. Jasmine paced back and forth, her heels clicking sharply against the hardwood floor, while Rasheeda leaned against the kitchen counter, arms crossed, eyes narrowed like daggers. I can't believe you said that in front of everyone. Jasmine's voice was high, almost breaking, but layered with fury. Do you have any idea how humiliating that was? Rasheeda scoffed, flipping her hair in that signature defiant way fans knew all too well. Humiliating? Girl, you're acting like I just exposed some deep, dark secret. Chill. This isn't about you, it's about the facts. Facts. That word was the spark everyone knew would ignite a fire. Jasmine's jaw tightened, and her eyes blazed. Facts. Don't play with me, Rasheeda. You know damn well what you said wasn't facts, it was lies. By now, the room was crowded. Friends, family, and crew members hovered around, unsure whether to intervene or record the madness. Some whispered to each other, exchanging nervous glances, while others tried to stay invisible, hoping not to get caught in the crossfire. Ladies, please, one of the assistants pleaded, but their voice was drowned out by the escalating tension. Rasheeda stepped closer, her presence magnetic and terrifying all at once. Listen, Jasmine, I'm tired of you acting like the victim in every single situation. Maybe if you actually faced the truth for once, you wouldn't be so sensitive. Jasmine's face flushed crimson. Sensitive? Sensitive is watching you drag me in front of everyone, exposing things that were never meant to be talked about. You think just because you're loud and confident, you can steamroll everyone else. A hush fell over the room as the verbal blows became sharper, faster, more personal. The crew held their breath. Even the cameras, which had been recording the heated exchange, seemed to sense the electricity in the air. One of the cameramen muttered, "This is about to get ugly." And then it happened. Rasheeda's hand gestured wildly, and in the heat of the moment, it grazed Jasmine's shoulder. Jasmine recoiled instantly, eyes wide, her voice rising to a scream. "Did you just touch me?" "Touch you?" "I barely," Rasheeda started, but her words were cut off as Jasmine lunged forward, grabbing Rasheeda's arm. "Don't you dare." In a split second, the argument escalated from sharp words to physical confrontation. The room erupted. Chairs scraped against the floor. Crew members shouted warnings. Friends tried to pull them apart, but the intensity of their anger made them almost impossible to separate. "Security!" Someone yelled, but before anyone could react, the cameras went dark. Completely silent, cut, no warning, no explanation. The footage that had captured the first seconds of the altercation vanished as if it had never existed. The room was left in stunned silence, everyone froze. The absence of the cameras heightened the chaos. Whispers spread like wildfire. Did they stop it? Did someone get hurt? The questions flew faster than answers could arrive. Meanwhile, outside the immediate fray, fans had already begun speculating. Clips leaked on social media showed the beginning of the confrontation, and viewers were going wild. Tweets exploded with hashtags like Jasmine Rasheeda, #LechitDrama, and #camerascut. Opinions divided sharply. Some blamed Jasmine for overreacting. Others sided with Rasheeda's unapologetic stance. The comments sections were full of heated debates and accusations. Fans dissecting every frame for clues about who started the conflict. Back in the house, the tension didn't dissipate. Rasheeda pulled back, breathing heavily, her eyes flashing, with a mixture of anger and disbelief. "You think this ends here?" she hissed, almost to herself. Jasmine, equally enraged, wiped a tear from her cheek, not from sadness, but from the intensity of the confrontation. "Oh, it doesn't," she whispered, voice low, dangerous. "This isn't over. Not by a long shot." Family members, caught in the middle, tried to mediate. One cousin stepped forward, pleading, "Please, ladies, think about your kids. Think about your families. This isn't worth it." But neither woman seemed to hear. The energy was too volatile, the anger too raw, and the historical tensions too deep to be soothed by simple words of reason. Then came the whispers of betrayal, secret alliances, old grudges, and rumors that had festered beneath the surface. Friends leaned into each other, exchanging looks that screamed, this was coming for a long time. Secrets were about to be exposed, and everyone in the room knew it. The air was thick with suspense, and every heartbeat seemed amplified. Just as the argument appeared to reach its peak, an unexpected twist occurred. One of Rasheeda's closest friends, someone fans had always considered neutral, stepped into the fray with an allegation that stunned everyone. "Jasmine, you've been talking behind Rasheeda's back. Everyone knows it." The room erupted again, but this time, the focus shifted. Jasmine's eyes narrowed, her hands trembling with fury. "Excuse me, you don't know a damn thing," she shouted, voice cracking under the strain. Rasheeda's expression transformed, a mix of vindication and shock. "See, I told you. Everyone's tired of her lying." The verbal war escalated, emotional punches traded back and forth like daggers. Even the cameraman, who had returned cautiously to resume filming, seemed hesitant. The intensity was no longer just entertainment, it had become a psychological battlefield, and yet, as quickly as the room had filled with rage, an uneasy calm descended. Both women paused, chests heaving, eyes locked in a tense standoff. For a moment, it seemed the storm might break, or perhaps the cameras had captured only the calm before an even greater eruption. Sources close to the production hinted that what happened in the next few minutes was something even the producers hadn't anticipated. Allegedly, one of the assistants, desperate to protect the cast and crew, decided to physically intervene, placing themselves between Jasmine and Rasheeda. "Back off, both of you," they screamed. But the intervention only added fuel to the fire. The family was left divided. Some members tried to console Jasmine, whispering reassurances, while others rallied behind Rasheeda, claiming she had been pushed too far. In that small, tense space, alliances were tested, friendships strained, and every emotion imaginable ran high. Fans watching online were left on edge, eagerly waiting for updates, hungry for the truth behind the cut footage, and desperate to know if anyone had actually been hurt. By the end of that night, rumors were swirling like wildfire. Some claimed that the fight was premeditated, a long-simmering feud that finally erupted. Others insisted it was spontaneous, triggered by a single comment that ignited a powder keg of unresolved tension. And amidst the chaos, the missing footage became almost legendary, a tantalizing mystery that fans speculated about endlessly. One thing was undeniable. Jasmine and Rasheeda had given the world a moment that would be remembered for seasons to come. The drama, the betrayal, the physical confrontation, and the shocking cut of the cameras, it was a storm that no one could ignore. And for those watching from the outside, the question remained, what really happened behind those cameras, and how far would either woman go before the feud was finally settled? The night had barely begun, but the energy in the house was electric, almost combustible. Jasmine and Rasheeda were separated by only a few feet, but the tension between them could have ignited a fire without a single spark. Friends and family hovered, some whispering, others openly taking sides. But no one dared to step too close. Every eye in the room was fixed on the two women, waiting for the next eruption. Rasheeda, regaining her composure, leaned casually against the wall, her voice smooth but dripping with venom. "You think this ends after tonight? Honey, this is just the beginning. People are going to hear everything soon enough." Jasmine, still fuming, refused to back down. Her fists were clenched, her nails digging into her palms. "I don't care what anyone hears. You're not going to manipulate the story like you always do. I'm done being silent." The room seemed to contract around them. Every whispered accusation from the past added weight to the present moment. Friends exchanged nervous glances, sensing that a bomb was about to explode. And then, as if on cue, one of Rasheeda's friends, a woman whose loyalty had always been unquestioned, stepped forward with information that stunned everyone. "You know, Jasmine," she said, her tone cutting, "we've all seen what you've been doing behind the scenes. Don't think we don't know." Jasmine's head whipped around, eyes blazing. "What are you talking about? Who told you that?" "No one," the friend replied, smirking. "We've seen it ourselves. You can't hide it anymore." Rasheeda's lips curled into a triumphant smile. Finally, someone's telling the truth. Jasmine's fury surged. "Truth, this is lies. All of it." Voices grew louder, accusations flew faster, and soon, the room was in chaos again. Chairs toppled, drinks spilled. Family members tried desperately to separate the two, but the momentum was unstoppable. Each woman seemed to feed off the other's anger, their emotions escalating like a wildfire racing through a dry forest. Then came the unthinkable. Jasmine, unable to contain herself, lunged forward again, attempting to grab Rasheeda by the shoulders. Rasheeda twisted, countering instinctively, and the two collided. Gasps echoed through the room as the confrontation became undeniably physical. A friend of Rasheeda shouted, "Stop, you're going too far." But the words were lost in the storm. Meanwhile, crew members were frantically trying to regain control. The cameras, which had restarted after the mysterious cut, captured glimpses of the chaos, glasses shattering, footsteps running, voices screaming. But the most critical moments, the precise clash that had caused everyone to gasp, were once again missing. Cut, leaving viewers on social media desperate for the full story. Outside, the fans were relentless. Tweets exploded, Instagram stories circulated blurry clips, and YouTube comment sections became battlegrounds. Did she hit her? Was security involved? Why did the cameras cut again? Every fan had a theory, and every theory seemed more dramatic than the last. The missing footage became a legend in its own right, fueling rumors, gossip, and heated debates back inside. The emotional stakes had risen. Jasmine's voice, hoarse from shouting, wavered slightly. "I'm sick of everyone thinking I'm the problem. You've been manipulating situations for years, Rasheeda, and tonight it ends." Rasheeda's laughter was sharp, almost cruel. "Manipulating? Girl, you've been doing just as much. Don't think no one sees through your act." The family, now visibly shaken, struggled to mediate. One cousin stepped between the two women, holding out both hands. "Ladies, stop. Please, think about what this is doing to everyone watching, your kids, your families." But neither woman seemed capable of listening. Their anger had taken on a life of its own, consuming every rational thought. And then came the revelation that pushed the evening into uncharted territory. A secret, previously hidden, now unveiled. One of Rasheeda's closest confidants revealed in a hushed but audible tone, "You know what's worse? Jasmine, your little plan to discredit Rasheeda, we found out. Every detail. You thought no one would see, but everyone knows now." The room froze. Jasmine's eyes widened, a mixture of shock, betrayal, and rage painting her face. That's not true. You're lying." Rasheeda's smirk deepened. "See, I told you. The truth always comes out." For a moment, the argument paused, tension replaced by a suffocating silence. But it was only temporary. Jasmine, trembling with emotion, pointed a finger at Rasheeda. "You think you've won. You think this is over. You haven't seen anything yet." The declaration sparked another round of screaming. Friends shouted, trying to hold them apart, but it was impossible. Emotions ran high, voices overlapped, and the intensity reached a fever pitch. The family was left divided, some taking Jasmine's side, others aligning with Rasheeda, while some simply stood back, horrified at the spectacle. Then, an unexpected twist. One of the crew members revealed that the original footage that had disappeared earlier contained something even more shocking. confrontation with another cast member that had never aired before. The revelation reignited the tension, adding fuel to the already blazing fire. Rumors began to swirl. Was there another betrayal? Another secret? The possibilities were endless, and no one could predict the fallout. In the midst of this chaos, one voice rose above the rest, calm but commanding. Enough, both of you. It was a senior producer, stepping in for the first time. You're on a set, not in your personal feud. Stop before someone gets seriously hurt. But the intervention did little to quell the storm. The women were too far gone, their anger too raw, their emotions too volatile. Every accusation, every memory, every grudge came spilling out, turning the room into a war zone of feelings, words, and near physical clashes. Outside the walls of the house, fans watched, commented, and speculated. Social media became a frenzy of theories, opinions, and outrage. Clips, though brief and incomplete, circulated endlessly, leaving everyone hungry for more. The question that haunted every viewer: what really happened during the moments the cameras didn't catch? By the end of part 2, the confrontation had escalated from verbal sparring to near physical chaos. Secrets had been revealed, alliances tested, and the family and friends had been pulled into the storm. The intensity, the drama, and the suspense left everyone, both in the room and watching online, on edge, desperately anticipating what would happen next. The tension in the house was suffocating. Even the air seemed thick with rage and anticipation. Jasmine and Rasheeda had been temporarily separated by friends and crew, but neither was willing to back down. Each woman's eyes burned with determination, and the simmering hatred between them felt ready to erupt again at any moment. You really think you can intimidate me? Jasmine hissed under her breath, pacing like a predator circling her prey. Tonight is my night to set the record straight. You've pushed too far for too long. Rasheeda's response was a slow, deliberate smirk. Set the record straight. Honey, the record's already set. Everyone knows who's been playing who. You just don't like it when the truth comes out. The friends and family watching were caught in a storm of emotions. Some tried to mediate, gently tugging at arms, whispering pleas to calm down. Please, just breathe. This isn't worth it, one relative begged. But every word seemed to fall on deaf ears. The history of grudges, betrayals, and misunderstandings had created a pressure cooker, and tonight it was about to blow, and blow it did. In a sudden, explosive moment, Jasmine spun around, her voice cracking with emotion. You think I've been silent this whole time? You think I haven't noticed what you've been doing? Rasheeda's eyebrows arched, a challenge in her gaze. Oh, I've noticed. All right. And I've been waiting for you to finally show your true colors. Looks like tonight's the night. The argument escalated again, voices overlapping, accusations ricocheting through the room. You've been lying to everyone. Jasmine yelled, her hands trembling with fury. Every single thing you said about me was a manipulation. Rasheeda's response was just as sharp. Manipulation? Girl, please, you think your little secrets aren't obvious? We see everything. The fans see everything. You can't hide your games anymore. It was then that the shocking revelation came, dropping the room into stunned silence. One of Rasheeda's closest allies leaned in, voice low but piercing. You know, Jasmine, it's not just about tonight. We found out what you did last season. All of it. The plan, the lies, the manipulations. You thought it was hidden, but everyone knows now. Jasmine's face paled. That's not true. I never, don't lie to me, Rasheeda snapped. We've got proof. Pictures, messages, receipts, everything. At that moment, the room seemed to implode. Friends gasped, family members exchanged horrified looks, and even the crew appeared frozen. The depth of betrayal was staggering. Emotions ran high, fear and anger mingling into a volatile storm. Jasmine, refusing to be cornered, took a deep breath and pointed accusingly. You think you're perfect. You've done things just as dirty. Rasheeda, don't pretend like you're innocent here. Rasheeda laughed, a sound sharp enough to cut glass. Innocent? Honey, I'm way past innocent, but at least I don't hide behind lies while pretending to be sweet. Face it, tonight, your mask is coming off. The verbal duel reached a fever pitch. Chairs were overturned in frustration. Drinks spilled onto the floor. Friends and family tried desperately to intervene, but the two women were locked in a cycle of accusations, each feeding off the other's anger. Then, in a move no one anticipated, Jasmine grabbed a nearby object, a decorative vase, and waved it dramatically. You want the truth? Here it is, she shouted. Rasheeda's eyes widened, but before the vase could make contact, a friend lunged in, knocking it from her hands. The object crashed against the floor, shattering into pieces. Gasps filled the room. Enough, both of you. The friend screamed. The near miss sent a ripple through everyone present. The danger had escalated from verbal aggression to near physical violence, and the room felt electric with tension. Cameras were rolling again, capturing every moment. But rumors swirled about footage that had mysteriously disappeared. Earlier clips that may have shown the actual impact of a physical confrontation. Fans speculated endlessly online, desperate for answers. While the chaos continued, an unexpected twist emerged. One of Rasheeda's family members revealed a long-held secret. Jasmine had allegedly tried to manipulate others behind the scenes, spreading rumors to create division. The revelation stunned the group. I can't believe you, Jasmine, the family member said, voice shaking. All this time, you were planning against us. Jasmine's reaction was swift and intense. I did no such thing. You're twisting my words. Her voice rose higher, echoing through the room. Rasheed. Sensing an advantage, pressed forward. Twisting. Girl, please. The truth doesn't need twisting. Everyone sees your games now. The confrontation escalated yet again. Friends and family were pulled deeper into the storm, some taking Jasmine's side, others siding with Rasheeda, and a few simply trying to stay neutral. The atmosphere was chaotic, filled with tension, fear, and adrenaline. At that point, a producer stepped in, trying to regain control. Ladies, please, stop before someone gets hurt. But the words barely registered. The emotional and psychological intensity was too high. Every glance, every word, every gesture added fuel to the fire. Just when it seemed the night couldn't get any more dramatic, another bombshell dropped. A previously unknown insider whispered that there were messages and recordings that could incriminate both women in ways nobody had anticipated. The revelation sent shockwaves through the room. You both thought you were untouchable, the insider said, but now the truth is coming out. The statement hung in the air like a guillotine. Both women froze momentarily, realizing the stakes were higher than ever. Every ally, every friend, every fan watching from home was now invested. Social media exploded with speculation. Fans debated endlessly. Who was telling the truth? Was Jasmine guilty of manipulation? Had Rasheeda been hiding her own secrets? The room descended into chaos again, but this time, it was punctuated by sobs, anger, and an unrelenting sense of betrayal. Friends and families scrambled to contain the storm, but it seemed unstoppable. The emotional stakes had reached a peak, and no one could predict how the night would end. As the hours wore on, the confrontation slowly evolved into a tense standoff. Both women, exhausted but unwilling to yield, stared each other down. Breathing heavily, faces flushed with rage, they were a powder keg on the verge of exploding. The family was left divided, friends caught in the crossfire, and fans online left desperate for the full story. And just when it seemed like the drama might finally pause, a whisper went around the room. There's more. Things neither of you knows about. The statement sent shivers down everyone's spines. The night, it seemed, was far from over. Secrets were waiting to be revealed, alliances would be tested further, and emotions were about to run even higher. The tension in the room had reached a breaking point. Jasmine and Rasheeda stood only a few feet apart, chests heaving, faces flushed with rage and exhaustion. Friends and family hovered cautiously, unsure whether to intervene or stay back and witness history unfold. Every eye was fixed on the two women, waiting for the next move, knowing that the smallest spark could ignite an all-out storm. You really think you've won? Jasmine spat, her voice trembling with fury. You think tonight proves anything? It doesn't, not yet. Rasheeda's smirk was slow, deliberate, and infuriating. Oh honey, I don't need to win tonight. Everyone already knows the truth. The truth never loses. Suddenly, the room was plunged into chaos again. An ally of Jasmine's stepped forward, holding out a phone. Wait, I have the messages. The room went silent for a split second. All eyes were on the screen as texts, screenshots, and voice notes appeared, revealing a series of secrets and betrayals that had long been kept hidden. Gasps filled the room. Friends whispered in disbelief. Family members exchanged shocked glances, and both women froze, realizing that the night was spiraling even further out of control. You've been lying to everyone. Jasmine screamed, pointing at Rasheeda. I knew something was off, but this. This is beyond anything I imagined. Rasheeda's response was sharp, almost chilling. And you think you're innocent? Don't act like your hands are clean. We all see your games. Jasmine, we've been watching the whole time. At that moment, the emotional storm hit its peak. Jasmine's fists clenched, Rasheeda's jaw tightened, and the energy in the room became almost unbearable. Friends and families struggled to mediate, but the sheer intensity of the confrontation made them seem powerless. Every accusation, every revelation, every whispered secret fueled the fire. Then came the tipping point. Jasmine lunged forward again, her voice breaking. You've crossed the line for the last time. Rasheeda stepped back but didn't retreat, her stance defiant and unyielding. In that instant, the two collided, knocking over a small table. Drinks spilled, papers scattered, and the room erupted into chaos. Security rushed in, trying to separate the women, but it was a tense, delicate struggle. Both women were screaming, crying, and gesturing wildly, refusing to yield. The scene was pure drama, unfiltered, and explosive. Amidst the chaos, a friend of Rasheeda's whispered to a producer, "This is out of control. Something has to be done before someone gets hurt." But even as the warning echoed through the room, both women seemed almost untouchable in their emotional fury. Outside, fans were losing their minds. Social media exploded with speculation, debate, and outrage. Clips, blurry and partial, circulated endlessly. Did she really grab her? One tweet read, "Why are the cameras cutting at the worst moments?" Another questioned. The mystery of the missing footage added another layer of intrigue, making the night's events legendary in the eyes of fans. Back inside, the intensity gradually began to shift. The exhaustion of hours of yelling, shouting, and near-physical confrontations took its toll. Jasmine's voice softened slightly, though her eyes still blazed with emotion. "You don't understand how much I've held back?" she whispered, almost to herself. Rasheeda's expression flickered. For a moment, the defiance seemed to waver, replaced by a grudging acknowledgement. Maybe we've both gone too far," she admitted quietly, the storm in her eyes dimming just slightly. The room held its breath as both women stood in silence. The tension still thick but no longer escalating. Friends cautiously approached, offering supportive words, while family members exhaled, relief mingling with lingering concern. The emotional roller coaster had left everyone drained, yet the drama had reached a tentative pause. Yet even in this fragile calm, questions lingered. What would happen next? Would Jasmine and Rasheeda reconcile? Or would the feud continue to simmer beneath the surface? Fans online were relentless, speculating endlessly, analyzing every glance, every word, and every gesture. The missing footage remained a tantalizing mystery, a story within a story that kept viewers hooked and hungry for answers. As the night came to a close, both women retreated to separate rooms, leaving friends and family to pick up the pieces. Debriefing, conversations, and whispered theories filled the house. The alliances and divisions created in the heat of the moment would leave lasting ripples, friendships strained, loyalties questioned, and reputations forever altered. Even after the doors closed and the cameras stopped rolling, the storm lingered. Texts buzzed, calls were made, and rumors spread like wildfire. Fans glued to social media, debated, analyzed, and speculated. The night's events became the talk of the city, a story that would be told for seasons, with every twist, secret, and revelation dissected and discussed. By the end of the night, one thing was clear: Jasmine and Rasheeda had delivered a confrontation for the ages. Words, emotions, and almost physical blows had collided in a spectacle of drama that would be remembered for years. The family was divided, friends were shaken, and fans were captivated. And as the dust settled, the lingering question remained: what would the next chapter hold? Could there be reconciliation, or was this the beginning of an even more intense feud? The cameras might have cut, the footage might be missing, but the impact of that night was indelible. It was a story of betrayal, rage, loyalty, and the raw, human emotions that make reality television impossible to look away from. And for viewers, the suspense, the drama, and the unanswered questions ensured that the legend of Jasmine and Rasheeda's explosive clash would live on, etched into the memory of every fan who had witnessed, or imagined, the unforgettable night. What a night it was! Jasmine and Rasheeda's explosive confrontation has left fans everywhere on edge, and the aftermath is just as intense as the fight itself. Emotions ran high, secrets were revealed, friendships were tested, and the family was left divided in ways nobody could have predicted. The near physical clash, the accusations, and the missing footage only add to the legend of this unforgettable moment in love and hip-hop history. But the story doesn't end here. Questions linger. Will Jasmine and Rasheeda reconcile, or is this feud just getting started? Who truly had the upper hand, and how much of the drama was fueled by old grudges and behind-the-scenes schemes? With so many twists and explosive revelations, fans are left speculating and waiting for the next chapter in this saga. Now it's your turn. We want to hear from you. Do you think Jasmine crossed the line, or was Rasheeda equally at fault? Could this feud impact their relationships, careers, or even the next season of the show? Share your thoughts in the comments and let the debate begin. And if you haven't already, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss the next shocking twist in the Jasmine and Rasheeda saga. Stay tuned, because with drama like this, one thing is certain: the cameras may cut, but the story never ends.